Welcome back to the shop. Today on Sawdust and More, I'm going to teach you how I built this, what I'm calling a floating cross. So while everybody else is out building planters, I'm trying to give people another option. But I guess you could make flowers float as well if you wanted to, but that's going to be a different video. So if you've got a table saw, a miter saw, you can build this project. If you've got a router table, you can even take it to the next level. So stick around with me. I'm going to show you how I built it. I'll show you what size I made it, but you scale yours to whatever size of material you have laying around, because we're going to make this with some scrap wood, that just extra pieces we didn't use for another project. So come build with me and let's make some sawdust. All right guys, so you can start building this with any one of these pieces you want to start with. You can build the cross first, the base, or the brace. So I'm going to start with the base, and this is just a little small piece of walnut that I still have laying around from some other project, and we'll cut it down and make it into a base. Does not need to be the same size or any specific size. The only thing that matters is once you line these pieces up is where the magnets are, which you can put the magnet up here anywhere. The magnet's got to be in the top of the cross, but the key piece here is the string. You want it to be centered. You don't want it being, leaning one way or the other. So those are really the only key pieces. So let's chop this piece of walnut down and get started on the base. Okay, so like I said, this is a scrap piece of wood I have. I'm going to try to avoid this knot. So whatever that measurement is right before that knot is where we're going to end up at. So looks like it's right around 7.5. So I'm going to make this 7.5, and if we happen to have any of that knot in there, I'll trim a little bit more. Okay, looks like we missed most of that knot. Okay, I've got my router table out. This is where we're going to take it to the next level. Let's fancy this edge up by putting a 45-degree chamfer on it. This is going to make it look more finished by softening that 90-degree angle. Look how much better that looks. We're going to use this for our supporting piece. We'll cut that some because it doesn't need to be that tall. And then we need to cut a piece that's whatever this ends up being. 7 inches is what it is right now. This base is about the same. So we'll make that piece 7 inches again. And then this is 12 inches. So we'll cut this down to 12 inches and we'll cut a piece of 7 out of that. And if I'd had the camera rolling, you would have been able to tell that we made this 7 inches to be our top piece. Just gonna cut some angles right here to give it just a different look. And I'm gonna use this stop block to help me cut these edges to where they're equal. We'll zoom in here and let you see that. And I'll just turn it over and repeat the same. Now we've got our pencil point. It's going to be the top of our brace, which needs another 45 cut in it, so it'll fit on top of that. And we also still need to cut this to the 12 inches we wanted it to be. Okay, we've got our base cut. We've got our main stand cut. So all we need to do now is let's make the brace, and then we can put this together. So this brace just has two 45s, and we'll end up somewhere along there. Remember to leave room for your magnet and your cross. You don't want to go all the way to the end. You want to leave yourself a little bit of space, something like that. As you can tell, this project's been very simple cuts, either a straight cut or a 45-degree angle, and this diagonal brace is no different. And if you have any question about the second cut, bring your piece back over and draw a line. So we're just going to flip the saw around, cut the other 45, and we'll be finished with this. Very easy piece to put together. Little scrap. Okay, here's our diagonal brace. We'll get that glued in and then we'll move on to something else. But before we glue the diagonal brace in, I'm going to drill a small pilot hole here. This pilot hole is going to be my guide for my 1/2 inch Forstner bit. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to stick a 1/2 inch dowel inside the 45-degree angle here just to beefing this up a little bit. Does it need it? No. But after I get this glued in, I'll cut this down and then sand it flush with the top of the brace. Here we have all of our pieces. We have the main stand, which is 12 inches tall. We have our diagonal brace, and then we have our pencil point. We also have our walnut base, but the thing we don't have our magnet. So let's head over to Amazon and I'll show you which magnet I actually got. I've got it loaded up in the cart here. It's a 1/2 inch diameter, 3/8 inch high magnet. It's a neodymium magnet. It's a 1/2 inch in diameter, like I said. That's why I use the 1/2 inch Forstner bit, and I drill it 3/8 inch deep, and that magnet fits perfect inside of that hole. Here's some of your magnet numbers, which I know very little about magnets, but this seems to work out pretty well. And this is the magnet that I used. Okay, so you saw me drill the 1/2 inch hole for the magnet, but what you didn't see was me actually super gluing the magnet in there. So I record these videos on my phone, and from time to time the battery dies. It just happens. But what doesn't happen is you don't get a second chance to super glue that magnet in. So once you put your little star bond in there, push that magnet in, it's set. It's not coming out. So if you feel like you missed a step, you didn't. We all missed it, but that's what happened. I'm pre-drilling the hole where the base and stand are going to attach. Just measure where you'd like it to line up at. I like my edge of my stand to be at the end of the chamfer. And now we're going to put a screw between the base and stand. I already had the cross made from another project that I was working on that didn't pan out, but it's already got the magnet in the top and they should hold together. So now all we have to do is drill us a hole for our string to attach to the bottom of the cross. So I didn't show me measuring the center point of the base because this could be different depending on what size base you used. But you want this hole to line up directly beneath the magnet that's in the pencil point above it. All right, I'm going to sacrifice some string off of my open face here. The other weird thing about working with magnets, cut yourself off a long piece of string here. We can always cut the slack off later. I'm tying an old-fashioned fishing knot. That's just what I'm comfortable with, but you do whatever knot you know best. Here's our completed knot. That looks pretty good, and we'll go with that. So be sure and cut off the excess slack. Okay, now our fishing string's on there. I don't know if you can see that or not. We're going to thread it through our hole and come out the back side here. Stand her up. And this is where we have to kind of gauge how much string we're going to need before it does that. Something like that. Alright, what I usually do is when I pull the string through, I'll take a Sharpie marker and just put me a dot on the string so I can kind of tell where I need to tie something to hold this. I usually put a washer or a little tiny chain link just to keep it from pulling itself back through. So since we're using fishing string, we might as well use a little split shot sinker to see if it'll hold our cross from pulling the string back through. Alright. Perfect. I'll put some felt pads on the bottom of the base, but yeah, a little fishing string, some angles, neodymium magnet, you got yourself a floating cross. Thanks for making sawdust with me today. I'll see you guys next time.